Hey there, it's Ian Koniak, and we are back with the top 10 traits of elite sales performers. And today's trait is number 4, and that is this. Elite performers in sales are all in. So what does that exactly mean? When you're all in, you're committed. And the best definition that I've heard for commitment is this. Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you're going to do long after the mood that you said you'd do it has left you. In other words, we're in February now. We might have started the year super motivated about changing how we show up, changing what we work on, our work ethic, our habits, even our personal routines. Well, commitment means that even though it's 2 months later, we're still executing those key things. We're not relying on motivation to actually show up every day. We're doing it because we're committed. Commitment always beats motivation. When you're all in, you're not really relying on motivation. You're just showing up. So here are the characteristics of someone who's all in. Number 1, I just mentioned, they show up every single day, regardless of how they feel. Okay, most days, many people don't feel like going into work. They might not feel like prospecting. They might not feel like doing the hard things. That's normal. That's human nature. It's much easier to browse our phones or to go on social or maybe to do some busy work that doesn't really move the needle. The hard things are hard for a reason, but that's ultimately what makes us stronger. So when you're all in, you're showing up every single day and you're doing the hard things. You don't have to rely on motivation. Number 2 is people who are all in are busy doing and not thinking about what to do. In other words, their actions are creating their emotions. They're not waiting for their emotions to create their actions. They're busy doing, and because of that, they feel confident, strong, and ready to take on the next challenge. Action is what is creating results, not thoughts. Otherwise, people are stuck in their head. They're not taking action. They're not facing their fear. They're thinking too much. That's paralysis analysis. Whereas if you're all in, you're just doing what you know you need to do. You're not trying to hype yourself up. The third characteristic of someone who's all in is that they're grounded and they're committed to being where they are. In other words, they're not thinking about the grass being greener on the other side, but they're thinking about, I'm going to go all in with the opportunity at hand. We're always constantly being lured by, the next get rich quick scheme, the next opportunity. Recruiters are always, especially in software sales, people leave every 2 or 3 years, but when you're truly committed and all in, you're not thinking about where to go next. You're laying the groundwork. The grass is not greener where you, on the other side, it's greener where you water it. And people that are, all in are watering their own grass. They're not just trying to get to that next place where they think the external opportunity is going to be better. And then the last quality, number 4, of someone who's all in is that they're working with urgency. They're not waiting for an external pressure like the end of the quarter or the end of the month, or maybe their boss is putting pressure on them because they're not performing. They hold themselves accountable every single day, and their own competition is themselves. They're trying to get better than they were yesterday. Okay, this is really important. So when you're working with urgency every day, Monday, February 1st is not different than March 31st, right? There's that fast, high level, that gear that they're in that's consistently there. It doesn't mean you burn out. It means you show up every day and you work consistently, basically, versus having to turn it up at the end of the month or the end of the year or whatever, right? So showing up every day and treating even those days where you have a lot of white space on your calendar as the same as a day where you have, a big meeting coming up. It's consistently showing up and applying yourself every day. So the question many people have is, how do I know if I'm all in? And my good buddy, Chris Doris, has a great way to phrase this is this. If you're asking the question, am I all in? Then you're not. Then you're not, period. If you have to ask, then you're not all in. And so when I asked Chris, well, how do you get to an all in state? He said, it's really simple. You decide. You decide to be all in. So you make a decision. A lot of times we wait years and years before we're ready to get to a place where we're all in, and then within the snap, within an instant, you can get to that all-in state. So for anyone watching this video, if you're interested in downloading the rest of the Elite Traits of Sales Performers, I'll leave that link in the comments. I'm also going to leave a link into the podcast I did with Chris Doris, where we talked about getting to an all-in state, how to get there, what that looks like. We spent, I think it was almost an hour talking about this, and Chris is awesome. Definitely recommend you follow him as well. And yeah, best of luck. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.